Welcome back once again, everybody, to Titans Tube. This is our weekly picks for Week 9. We are trucking along here in the NFL season, and our guest for this week, Jake. I'm excited about this one. We've got an old friend of the show, Luke Worsham from A to Z Sports, doing great work for them. Luke, how's it going, man? Appreciate you.
It's going good. It's good to be back. I feel like it's been a while since I've made a Titans Tube appearance, so I'm excited to be making picks with y'all tonight.
Man, appreciate that. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, maybe sometime last year. Maybe we recapped a game or something one of the weeks, but yeah, it has been a while. So we're getting that corrected. Before we move on, Luke, this is election season, so I thought we could go around the chat. Everybody just talk about who you voted for. I thought that would be a really good idea.
Really good icebreaker.
Really good way the two things to bring people together. One, I really think that would be a unifying experience.
We're all about that here at Titans Tube, so I thought it'd be a good idea.
And also, I think that would also make for a very peaceful comment section in this video. Definitely.
Yeah, we would love to see that happen, which it never would. Okay, but I would like to go back. Let's review our picks results from last week, Jake. Our Week 8 results. I have them right here. We didn't do that great, but someone did. Jake, you have finally broken through, sir. You beat me and Mr. Titan, the guest last week, by a record of 8-5. And
all right,
Justin, I and Mr. Titan finished at 7-6. So you got us by a game. Congratulations. This was a long time coming. Luke, it's kind of pissing me off. I think we need to put him back in his place this week. Put him back at the bottom.
I've been at the bottom of the barrel every week, every picks video, and I finally get one, finally start gaining ground, and you guys just want to push me back down. That's fine. I'll play with a chip on my shoulder.
I don't like change. I like consistency here. So overall, though, I still lead by 76 wins. Not by 76. I have 76 wins. Jake, you are at 69, which is still the bottom. Nice. And the guest picks are at 70. So with that said, let's move on to these picks. We didn't pick the Thursday night game. I feel like we all would have picked the Packers, though. Should we cheat and go ahead and all give us a win over the 49ers?
I would say why not? We'll take the.
I'm sorry.
I don't know that there's any scenario where I would take Nick Mullins over Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly. That was a no-brainer. So on Sunday, the first slate of games, they start at noon. We have the Denver Broncos. Given the Chargers last week, just one of their signature Chargers breaking down and just losing the game. But congrats to Drew Lock and that Broncos team by getting the win, moving to 3-4, taking on a Falcons team who also has kind of that tactic for losing games late in the fourth quarter. So could that happen again? This is kind of an interesting matchup of two teams kind of in a down season. Luke, I'll let you have the first crack at this. How do you like this game?
I'm going to go Denver. Denver is a young team and though they're sort of out of it perhaps for this year, they've got guys who are hungry, who want to prove themselves and who want to build for the future. And, maybe perhaps in 2021, they won't be quite so injury depleted. Atlanta, on the other hand, they've got nothing to play for. Their coach has already been fired. The season's done.
Yeah.
I'm going to take as far as talent is concerned, I don't know that there's a huge difference. I'm going to take the team that perhaps has more drive and something to play for, even if that something is just a moral victory.
Kind of looking towards like the future of what they have building there. Whereas Atlanta better figure it out quick because Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are not getting younger. Jake, what about you? Who you pick in this game?
I'm going with the old men, Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. I don't know. I just kind of like the home team here. Denver really hasn't sold me, They did have a great signature win last week, but yeah, it's against a Chargers team who likes to flub games. So in the end, I'm just going to go with the home team here and take Atlanta.
Yeah, man, it kind of feels like a toss-up. I'm kind of leaning Luke's way, though. I like how they finished that game, and I think they're coming off with some extra pep, some motivation, and they're really trying to continue building what they have going there. I think they get it. I think they get 2 in a row here by beating the Falcons on the road. So we'll see. Next game, 2 pretty high-profile teams right now. The Seattle Seahawks at 6-1 take their team all the way across the country to a Buffalo Bills team who was solidly in first place in the AFC East after they took down the Patriots last week. Man, this could be a good game. I don't know, but the Bills, they are winning, but they had that game against the Jets, right? Yeah, like how much are you buying them? They really should have blown that game against the Patriots if Cam Newton didn't fumble away the game at the end. But they are 6-2. So, Jake, I'll start with you on this one. This is a tough game for me to pick.
I almost took the bait of, Seattle's got to make the trip all the way east and everything like that. But I just think Seattle's too good. And Buffalo really hasn't impressed me all that much, especially after their hot start. The wheels have kind of fallen off a little bit. Like you said, they might have blown the game against the Patriots. Their Jets win wasn't very convincing. So give me Seattle and Russell Wilson.
All right. Sounds good. I'm going to jump on that wagon too. I think the same. The Bills defense is kind of looking a little suspect now. So is the offense too at points, but I think Seattle's just a little a tier above the Bills right now. Luke, what about you?
Well, the Josh Allen MVP stuff at the beginning of the year was clearly a mirage and something that we're not going to see anytime soon from him. I think Seattle is one of the most complete, one of the best teams in the league, and I'm with you, Jake. I think it's bait to do the whole. Well, that's fodder for like the people calling the game, trying to make it sound more interesting than it really is. I think so. I'm going to take Seattle.
All right, that's a sweep for Seattle. And man, yeah, you talked about Josh Allen. I bought into him. I was like, man, he's looking like he's going to be an elite QB this year, and he was putting a few games together, and I was like, man, I guess he is the real deal.
Titans defense.
It was us. Yeah, it was kind of us where he started the decline happening. Crazy enough, against our defense, he couldn't continue his MVP campaign going. So let's move on to the next game. This is going to be, besides the Titans game, this is going to be my attention is the most, and that is the Baltimore Ravens going to Indianapolis to take on this 5-2 Colts team that I wish they would just go away. This is supposed to be the Titans season. This is supposed to be our AFC South, but they're right there playing probably better football. They are playing better football than the Titans right now. But tough matchup against the Ravens here. Luke, I'll go to you first. What do you see in this game?
I think Old Man Rivers is going to take a step back in this one. I think that Baltimore is going to rebound from what was a tough loss to the Steelers. They're still really, really good, and I think people are forgetting that because they do have a couple of tough losses this year. But the Colts, though they've won some games in a row, and they're certainly a good team, I'm going to need to see more from them before I believe they're anything special, and I think that's what it takes to beat Baltimore.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. They do have some good wins, but they gave up a lot of points to a Browns team who ended up just scoring 6 points last week against the Raiders.
Yeah.
But they did just blow out the Lions, so they're kind of on the high end right now. But yeah, who knows what the follow-up is going to be here. I do like the Ravens here. I think they are the better team. They took a tough loss against the Steelers, who's going to be, it looks like they're going to be trying to be a Super Bowl contender this year. So I'll take the Ravens on the road. Jake, what about you?
I'm going to make it a sweep. Luke talked about it. Their 2 losses have been to great teams, and in the Kansas City Chiefs and then obviously Pittsburgh last week, both top AFC contenders. I still think Baltimore is pretty good and has a lot more talent than this Colts team. Give me Baltimore in this one. Plus, it'll tee up the Thursday night next week for the Titans quite nicely.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be set up to be a big time AFC South showdown. Let's move on to an interconference matchup. The Carolina Panthers at 3-5. Good luck going against Patrick Mahomes in this Kansas City offense that is starting to just light it up week to week now. Chiefs coming off a win against it was the Jets, wasn't it? Well, yes. What are you gonna do? Not lighten up the Jets. Chiefs at home. I got the Chiefs. So there's no reason to spend a whole lot of time on this game. Jake, what about you?
I think we have a sweep coming. I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. Is Christian McCaffrey coming back this game, or maybe next week? That might be a new kind of shuffle in the deck here, but give me the Chiefs still.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes is like a nice cut of filet mignon, whereas Teddy Bridgewater's kind of oatmeal. Like they both fill you up, and you can survive on oatmeal, but like who's going to choose oatmeal over a very nice cut of filet mignon? And
that's a very funny metaphor, and it's a very accurate one. I was like, "Where's he
extra
going with
points for a metaphor?"
Yeah,
I like Matt.
But
Matt Rule. I like Matt Rule. I think they have a good future there once they get some more exciting players, some more talent. But they're not going to beat the Chiefs. I mean,
so that's it, a sweep for the Chiefs. Yeah. Panthers are an odd team. I don't know what to make of them. They can be competitive and then win games you don't expect them to win, but at 3-5, yeah, they're just not there this year at all. Let's go to a division matchup in the NFC North. We got the Detroit Lions at 3-4 taking on Minnesota Vikings team, who kind of very surprisingly took down the Packers a couple weeks ago, or it was last week. Yeah, last week. I don't know. This one can be kind of a toss-up too. Lions laid an egg against Indy. Vikings came out to play against the Packers. What are we going to see here? Vikings are at home. Vikings are. So I'm going to take the home team here. I think they'll even the score against the Lions, and they'll be at 3-5 in that division. Luke, what about you?
I think the real losers of this game will be anyone who actually paid for tickets, assuming that there's fans allowed. Because it's just two very confusing and frustrating teams that just, Kirk Cousins, man, I don't
know what to make of him. Still, he's like Eli Manning. He's been in the NFL for 10 years. I don't even know if he's good. I have no idea.
Best of luck to them having to continue to pay him a fully guaranteed contract over the next few years. I will go with the Vikings, though. I think they're, on paper at least, a much better team than Detroit. I have for years said that I think Detroit is one of the worst, not in terms of win-loss, just in terms of how they're run, one of the worst professional sports franchises in America. And Matthew Stafford not playing either. I think this one's probably go in the direction of the Vikings.
Yeah,
I would like to correct myself. Matthew Stafford can play this week. I just looked it up. So if he tests negative for,
okay,
still I would pick the Vikings.
Yeah, gotta shout out also Dalvin Cook. If it's not Henry, Dalvin Cook is having the best running back season in the NFL this year. He is lighting it up, and that's going to be tough for that Lions defense.
I had to play against Dalvin Cook in fantasy last week.
Ooh,
that was not tough.
There's no way you won that. How many points was that? Good grief.
In our league, it was 60.
Man, that's like a total from a bad week from an entire team.
Yeah.
Good grief. All right, so we're both going Vikings. Jake, what about you?
I'm going to make it a sweep for the Vikings. I kind of like the direction the Vikings are kind of going. They're putting it together a little bit after, a tough start to the season. They did have a kind of a tough schedule opening them up, so it might have skewed their record a little bit. I still think they're a decent team, and yeah, Dalvin Cook's got a hot hand right now, so give me the Vikings at home.
All right, a sweep for the Vikings. Skull Nation, or whatever they say. Something about Skull. So we're moving from two bottom dwellers in a division to a division where everyone's a bottom dweller. That's the NFC East. But especially here, where it's the Giants at 1-7, at the Washington football team at 2-5. Giants blew a game to the Eagles last week. And I did see a stat, and here's going to be my pick. I'm going to pick the Giants because in Daniel Jones's career, I think he has 4 total wins. 3 of them are to Washington. He knows how to beat Washington and nobody else. So I'm going to take Daniel Jones getting his 4th out of 5th total win against Washington this week. Jake, what about you?
I'm going to go with you, Justin. I'm taking the Giants too. And it's because, they're getting the mini bye after the Thursday night game against Philly. And, that's the first Giants game I've watched this year. And they showed a little bit of fight against what I thought, was a very kind of maybe not very superior Philly team. But I thought Philly would win that game for sure. Easily. But they showed a lot of fight and resolve against that Philly team. So give me the Giants here against the football team. 2
for the Giants.
I'm going to do a lone wolf, and I'm going to go with the Washington football team. I think that, well, first of all, some people think that Deion Lewis is my mortal enemy, my nemesis. So, and he's on the Giants. So, but I think that I would go for anything that Ron Rivera is involved in over anything that Daniel Jones is involved in. That's just my take.
Yeah. He's got, that coaching defensive mind going up against, very, I don't know. I think time's running out on Daniel Jones for a lot of fans. I think he can come up with a scheme. Do you think he's past the point of no return? Even if, this is only his 2nd year though, right?
I mean, I think the only question now is Trevor Lawrence going to go to the green New York team or the blue New York team?
There you go, man. That sucks for the Giants, man. He was like the 6th overall pick like 2 years ago, and they're already moving on.
And
Goodness.
Could have had Josh Allen, could have had Ed Oliver, and yet they had to take the tall, lanky quarterback from Duke.
Tough Giants front office, tough evaluation there. Okay. Well, let's move on. Another garbage division game. What's up with the garbage games this week, NFL? We got the Texans at the Jags. Luke, we say it all the time on this show, week to week, that the Texans, week in and week out, seem like they continue to be better than what their record is, and the gap is it's getting more because they still can't win a game. That was a bad loss against the Packers. I think that was their last game because they had a bye last week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They weren't that competitive in that game, but then all the other ones, they have been pretty competitive. The offense, Deshaun Watson is still making plays. I think because of that, they do have more talents. J.J. Watt, they have the staples there. They just haven't put it together.
Yeah.
But their one win was against the Jags. So I think they get their second win against the Jags and sweep them on the season. Luke, what about you?
I'm going to agree with you, Justin, and say that it's going to be a sweep. Houston's a bad team, but they've at least got some talent. That can't really be said about Jacksonville outside of maybe a trio of players.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So Jake, what about you?
I'm going to make it a sweep for Houston here. Gardner Minshew isn't even starting this game. I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head who the Jaguars quarterback is coming into this week. Maybe he provides a spark. Maybe he doesn't. I'm leaning towards he doesn't because, like you guys said, Houston just has more talent here, and I'll give them their second win against Jacksonville this year.
Man, I'm out of the loop. So the Minshew mania is officially over. I knew it was on the downward trend, but they're already going to start.
I think it's injury related. Somehow,
it's injury related. Okay,
I think so.
Interesting. Okay, well that's my bad. I did not do proper research, but we all picked the Texans anyway. Doesn't matter.
All good.
So now we got another divisional matchup here. The Raiders 4-3, coming off a win. Ugly 16-6 win against the Browns last week, going against the Chargers, who, I mentioned before, blew the game against the Broncos. This is one of those AFC divisional games that I can see this as a toss-up. Chargers are at home. Luke, I'll go to you first. What do you see in this game?
Of all the ones that we picked so far, Justin, I think this one's the hardest one for me anyway, because the Raiders are a team that has a chance at a postseason opportunity, and the Chargers are probably beyond that at this point. But they're in every game. They score a lot of points. They've got talent. Justin Herbert has been exceptional as a rookie. And I don't know. I really don't know. It's tough to pick. I'm going to go with the Chargers. When you first said the matchup, that's what my gut said. I like John Gruden a lot. I like what this Raiders team is doing. I just think that this is not a good matchup for them. I think that they're sort of, grind it out, suffocate you style of play just isn't going to work against Justin Herbert. I think they're going to air it out like they have all year, and that he's going to pick up his second win.
Yeah. Justin Herbert, I could see him lighting up this Raiders defense. And the Raiders, they had some protocol issues with COVID, and so they got hit with a fine and a draft pick. And I think they're missing some players like Trent Brown on the offensive line and maybe some others. So they're coming into this game shorthanded, I believe, due to that. I do want to pick the Raiders, but there's something I like about Justin Herbert in this matchup against the Raiders defense. If it becomes a shootout, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, he's got weapons there. I'll go with you, Luke. You didn't mean to, but you kind of changed my mind with how you spoke about this game. So I'll take the Chargers too. Jake, what about you?
This is where I'll try and pick up a game on the guest and you, Justin. I'm going to take the Raiders here. I had them circled. Luke didn't change my mind. But I'm just going based off of, Las Vegas does have, playoff aspirations and kind of something to play for. This might just be kind of another ho-hum kind of game for the Chargers. I mean, it's a divisional game, but, when you're sitting with one win going into week 9, or do they have 2 wins? 1 win.
Chargers have 2 wins.
2 wins. Oh, Herbert's got the one because Tyrod was the winner in week 1. Anyways, I like Las Vegas here. Gruden's going to have them, eyeing one of those wild card spots this year. So give me the Raiders in this one.
All right. Hey, I like it. This is a good chance for you to gain some ground. All right, let's go to Pittsburgh Steelers. Lopsided matchup here against the Dallas Cowboys at 2-6. Are they at the third or fourth or fifth string quarterback at this point? What's Dallas going forward here? This season's a disaster.
I made a joke to some of my to Will Matias, who I host the No Nonsense podcast with.
Yeah.
When it was announced that Ben DiNucci was hurt and that they were going to have, I just sent him a text. I said, the Cowboys are canceled. I am canceling the Cowboys.
They need to cancel. Zeke needs to just be in the Wildcat offense, and that's just what they're going to have to do for an entire game, I guess.
They would probably have a better chance at winning games that way, honestly.
Probably do. Stop throwing the ball. You can't do it without Dak, apparently. I'm going Steelers. Are you guys going Steelers? No way.
It'll probably be a sweep. Yeah.
No way the Cowboys can win this game. If the Cowboys win this game, we're taking a 2-week break from Titans 2. We can't talk about football anymore.
Sounds good.
Let's move on to this upstart Dolphins team with Tua taking down the Rams last week. That was impressive. A couple of long defensive touchdowns, kind of a weird fluky game, but still they took down the Rams, going against the Arizona Cardinals, who's trying to make a run here in the NFC West. They are looking good at 5-2 with that offense. Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins, one of the most lethal wide receiver quarterback combinations right now going in the league. It's a tough game. Dolphins always seem to outplay what is expected of them. Almost, they're either competitive. They've had a bad loss or two this season, but they've surprised me several times this year. I'm going to take the Cardinals at home, though. Speaking of hyping up the Dolphins, but I'm still going to come back and take the Cardinals. I like how they're at home. They're looking to continue to make a statement, keep pace with the Seahawks in that division, and I think they get this win. Jake, what about you?
I really, really wanted to take Miami, especially after I took them last week and was almost laughed off the show, So my belief in Tua, hey, you never really know, but I am going to go with the home team here. The Cardinals started, I think they were 2-0, and then they fell off, were 2-2, but now they've kind of started to put it back together. They've put together some convincing performances like that game against Seattle, where they won in overtime. Starting to like Kyler Murray a lot. DeAndre Hopkins is a lot more fun to watch now that he's in the NFC and not gashing the Titans twice a year. So, give me the Cardinals here.
Yeah, very interesting, because they lost to the Washington, didn't they, at the beginning of the season, the Cardinals? I don't know how that happened. But, like you said, I think they put it together. Sorry, Luke, what's your pick for this game?
I'm going to take Arizona. I like Tua Tagovailoa a lot. He was probably – I liked him a little better than Joe Burrow before the draft.
Yeah.
But last week, that win had nothing to do with him. NFL put a video on YouTube – and it was like every Tua Tagovailoa throw from the game. And I mean, it was very much like a, stereotype Tom Brady type of game, 5-6 yard passes the whole time. Nothing really that. So I don't think it was necessarily his fault. Those were just the plays that were getting called. I don't know that they trust him to grip it and rip it quite the way that they did Ryan Fitzpatrick for whatever reason. And Arizona's a really, really good team. So I'm going to take the Cardinals.
Yeah. It could be like a game plan thing where they didn't want him to do too much. They just wanted to make an easy game for him. Like, here's some 5-6 yard passes for your first game. Hopefully we can get some amazingly long defensive touchdowns and kickoff returns. And that's exactly what happened. But they might let him let it loose a little more this game as the season goes on. We got a good one for Sunday Night Football, people. We got the Saints at the Bucks. Tom Brady and Drew Brees, second matchup of the year. What a treat for NFL fans. Man, the Buccaneers are looking too dangerous. I didn't think they were going to compete. I thought they might, get a wild card playoff berth, but they're suddenly looking like a contender in the NFC. They are really putting it together. Saints won the first matchup. I'll throw my pick in here. I think the Bucs have it going a little bit better than Drew Brees and this New Orleans team right now. Especially on offense. Tom Brady's making it happen with the weapons there. So I'll take the Bucs, and that'll give them a split for the season right there. Jake, what about you?
This is going to be maybe, if you want to call it an upset, this is going to be my upset pick of the week. I'm taking the Saints in this game. I think Mike Thomas is going to be back, if I read correctly earlier today. So that's going to give Drew Brees a lot more confidence and obviously offensive firepower, with the duo of Kamara and then Mike Thomas getting back in the lineup. So, it's kind of one of those betting propositions where, you think Tampa Bay's got it all going on. Drew Brees looks over the hill. Everybody's throwing money on the Buccaneers. I'll throw my money hypothetically on the Saints this week.
I like it. Luke, what about you?
I learned a long time ago that, and I live by this rule. I just don't bet. I don't bet against Tom Brady. I just try not to make a practice of that.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm not betting any real money, but yeah, I'll put up stakes.
I'm going to take the Buccaneers. I got asked before the season started to do power rankings, and I think I put them at 2. I was one of the believers
you really believed
that there was something to this team.
Wow.
I believe in Bruce Arians and players like Levante David on their defense that make that a really fast and aggressive unit. And of course, criticize him all you want for his age and what he's not able to do, but it's Tom Brady, and they have potentially 3 Hall of Famers on their offense in Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, and Antonio Brown. 4 if you count the quarterback.
Gronk. Wow. No Leonard Fournette Hall of Fame mention for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know that fullbacks can make it these days.
Ooh. Sorry, I had to throw some shade at an ex-Jaguar. How can I not do that? The opportunity presents itself. All right, so that's 2 for the Bucs. Jake, that you gain another game on us if you
who dat?
Monday Night Football, big time letdown, lackluster matchup, and it involves the New England Patriots.
Doesn't that always seem to happen on Monday night? Just the worst.
It's a terrible matchup. It's a terrible matchup, but the game always ends up being close and watchable or entertaining in some way or another.
But it's never lopsided. It's never like the Cowboys game this week, Steelers Cowboys. It'll be like Browns Vikings or something like that.
Totally random. Yeah, it's crazy. So New England's just having a hard time right now, picking up wins, holding on to the football. Do you guys see any possible scenario where maybe they drop this game to the Jets? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say it. I got the Patriots.
I would have to see a lot more than, and granted, the Patriots have stunk. I would have to see a lot more than what I've seen to pick Adam Gase over Bill Belichick.
Ooh, that would be a terrible look for Belichick. If he loses Tom Brady and now coaches like Adam Gase are beating him, legacy is taking a little bit of a punch to the gut. Jake, any Jets hopes for you at all?
I know you saw me grinning up here in my little Zoom box about it. I really want to take the Jets just out of chaos. But again, Adam Gase versus Bill Belichick, I got to take the Patriots on Monday night. I wanted to so bad, but I'll lay off.
Thought we could have gotten you there. All right. So we've made it to the final pick of the week. This game is we're got to go back in time. Back to Sunday at noon is the kickoff time between the Chicago Bears at the Tennessee Titans. Man, I building up a game and then coughing right before you introduce it is not good YouTube channel work there. But Chicago coming off a loss. Titans coming off a bad loss, one of the worst losses of the season. That was painful. Luke, I know you just came out with an article, I think, from A to Z Sports talking about how perhaps we could see a different type of defensive performance. Of course, we brought in Desmond King. Is he going to be ready or playing? Do you have the info?
I don't know. I think the COVID stuff is not going to be a problem. He'll get cleared from that on Saturday. The question is, are they going to see him as, quote unquote, ready to play? The way I see it, look, I think all this stuff about do they know that? I think all that gets overblown unless you're a quarterback. Send him out there, decode the language. You can make your XZ flat 9 7 curl, you can do that to the rest of them and just look at him and say, okay, you're going to play cover 2 in the flat display. Decode the message for him and get your former All-Pro that you just traded for on the field. And will they do that? I don't know. But And also up in the air is whether Adoree Jackson's going to play. It's looking not very likely based on the fact that he did not practice on Friday.
What's up with him practicing like Wednesdays and Thursdays and like, I'm going to take Friday off, and I guess I'll just go ahead and take the game off while I'm at it as well. Why is that a trend?
I really don't know the answer to that question. I wish I did. And, obviously of all the games we've talked about, this is the one I'm the most prepared to analyze and discuss, but it's probably, one of the hardest to pick because I want to pick the Titans. Like, this should be a game where they rebound from 2 tough losses in a row. A lot of sort of get your attention roster moves, cutting 3 starters if you add Bo Brinkley to the list of Joseph and Vic Beasley. Mm-hmm. But I don't have a whole lot of trust for this defense until the starters at corner get back. I mean, if I had a guarantee that we were going to see Malcolm Butler, Desmond King, and Adoree Jackson play corner, then sure, I'd easily take the Titans.
Agreed.
But unless I see that, the pass rush isn't good enough to make up for the fact that they've got, replacement level players in the secondary right now. And I have zero trust for this defense because they've shown me they're having. I mean, Mike Vrabel keeps trying to convince us that there have been some kind of silver linings. I really don't know what he's talking about. There really haven't been, if you ask me. I'm going to pick the Titans. I think they will win, but I'm not very confident in doing it.
We don't need confidence. We just need to think you're going to pick, know that you're picking the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you all the way about this defense. Like, even the Bears are having offensive line issues. They just had another one with COVID. Cody Whitehair, I think he's like their starting center, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
correct.
And they have a couple others that aren't going to be able to play. But after watching our D-line and pass rush against the Bengals, it doesn't matter how many people they have out because we can't pressure the quarterback still.
Now, Nick Foles is not Joe Burrow. If you get Nick Foles, he's down. You're not going to have to deal with him wiggling around back there. But
that's a good point. Clowney is questionable though too. On top of all that,
I don't know how will they possibly make up for that loss of production?
Yeah, who's our pass rushers? It's just Harold Landry now, and Derek Roberson is a disappearing act. I don't know where he's going to eventually show up, but. Yeah, it's hard to see, and the Bears they played New Orleans to overtime and lost. So, I mean, they're competing still, even with an offense that doesn't scare you. They have a couple weapons in Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, pretty decent running back. Mm-hmm. But, they just don't have an offense that scares you like kind of the Bengals did. You could point to several weapons on the Bengals offense. So maybe this could be a game where the defense kind of rallies together a little bit. And I told Jake last week, I just want to see us force like 4 punts against the Bengals, and I think we can do enough to win. We couldn't force 4 punts, Luke. I just want us to force a few punts in this game. Chicago does have a better defense, so our offense will have a tougher time, I think, moving the ball. But yeah, it's a kind of a toss-up game. This is a weird matchup to be going on right now. I'm going to pick the Titans, though. I have to. It's in my contract as a host of this channel. So I got the Titans. This has got to be a bounce back game. Huge game before we go on this Baltimore-Indianapolis stretch where that's going to be our season probably. But yeah, I think the Titans have got to get this one at home, get back on the winning ways after last week. Jake,
got about 3.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of make it quick. This might be a fan reaction. I didn't sign that specific clause in my contract that said I had to pick the Titans.
Jake,
I don't trust this defense as far as I can throw them. I'm taking the Bears this week. I am taking the Bears on Sunday. And it's because also, Mike Vrabel keeps harping on, we got it. I'm starting to just not buy Mike Vrabel as a defensive coordinator whatsoever. I know he might not be the defensive coordinator, but it's his defense he's trotting out there. It's not working. And like you said, Luke, if Adoree Jackson doesn't play, if they're going to have Desmond King on a low snap count, we're going to be trotting out practice squad guys, and we're going to make Nick Foles look like Tom Brady, as the saying goes. So give me the Bears until this defense can prove me otherwise that they can go out and play a football game. I'm sorry.
You're fired. That's it for you. You're done. You're done on this show. That's the first time.
That's going to be my big finale here, but I'm taking the Bears. I'm sorry, but until further notice, I was sitting in Cincinnati in the stadium, and I watched Joe Burrow go up and down the field with traffic cones of an offensive line. So, I don't care how many of their offensive linemen have COVID. I send out anybody and it'll do.
Appreciate
it. That doesn't matter. We saw that last week.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the honesty, Jake. We appreciate you going with your heart instead of your fan instinct. So yeah, that's our picks. That's going to be it for us. Can this Titans defense slow down this lackluster Bears offense? Luke, can you give me a Titans 2 promise that in the press conference afterwards, if the Titans allow 30 points again to this Bears offense, will you ask Coach Vrabel if he's going to hire a defensive coordinator? I think that's a safe question to ask him at this point.
Well, you got asked that last week, and he said that's not part of the problem. And
I know.
I don't know.
I imagine that he was going to get super angry at you, and I was trying to put you in a bad
Dean Pease has a ticket to the game. Dean Pease apparently has a ticket to the game. They should just give him a headset.
Call him up, no kidding. Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that game unfolds. So. I guess that's it. Luke, once again, we appreciate you coming on here.
Absolutely.
We can give us your Twitter handle and then your website or, A to Z Sports and then your podcast.
Yeah, you can read me on A to Z Sports Nashville.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Luke_Worsham. And I also co-host No Nonsense, a Tennessee Titans podcast every week. And you can find that wherever you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all those good places.
You're a busy man. You do a good job, Jake. Well, Jake, you do an okay job. You did a good job until you picked the Bears.
I was fired. Okay. I was just fired.
But you do a great job, Luke.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah, always appreciate you coming on the show. It's always a good time, man. Looking forward to the game Sunday. Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, you guys take it easy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in our preview video. Yeah.
Peace.
Goodbye.